Hi, I'm Brad.
I'm Casey.
And we're with Pageantvision TV, and we're on the campus of Converse University inside Twitchell Hall, Twitchell Auditorium that is, where we just enjoyed a wonderful weekend of the North Carolina and the South Carolina High School America pageant, and so many queens that we crowned. It was a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
It really was.
But we want to talk about Miss Universe and the Miss Universe system and some big things that are happening there. First of all, most people that are in the pageant world are aware, but for those of you that aren't, Miss Universe was recently sold, and I can't say her name, but they do call her Anne, so we're just going to go with Anne. Anne, who happens to be a transgender woman, which I think is fabulous and interesting and fascinating. It may create some controversy. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it definitely is such a hot topic in today's society. That's one of those things, they either love it or they hate it, and that's really hard. But when you're thinking about the production of Miss Universe, the way that they presented it this year is so amazing. Like I said, the other day we were talking about they're bringing out a reality TV show, and they're adding in new aspects that just make it more relatable to pageantry and relatable to everyday life. And if you weren't watching last night at the Miss Universe competition, Miss USA Albany Gabriel won, which is so amazing, which means we now have a new Miss USA, Morgan Romano from North Carolina.
She was the first runner-up, so she takes, and say her name again.
Morgan Romano.
No. Our title holder, the new Miss Universe.
Albany?
Albany, there you go. Well, she spells it very interestingly, and every time I look at it, I'm like, how do you say that name? Albany. There we go. So she's got an interesting year ahead of her. What kinds of things is she going to be doing in the next year as the new Miss Universe? Absolutely.
And when I recently talked to her on my Crowning Moment podcast, we had her on as Miss USA, and so we talked about what she had already been doing, and her big platform is she goes to different places and teaches sewing classes and all sorts of stuff. Really a creative person, so I think that they're going to bring that aspect into all over the country, all over the world, and I think it's just going to be a very interesting year. Like we said, with this new ownership, we don't really know what's in the cards for her going forward. I know the parties last night at Miss Universe looked fantastic. I had a close person, Kay Garcia Productions, that was also there doing some videography behind the scenes of what happened at the Miss Universe after party. So we'll definitely have to check out that, and hopefully we can show some clips on here so you guys can see kind of what was going on there. But I'm really interested to see as Miss Universe what she'll do.
They've said, it's going to be a transformational change for the organization, and it needs it, quite frankly. Years ago it was owned by Donald Trump and then was sold, and now JKN Global and Anne and her team own it, and they really plan to do some things different. Obviously the reality TV show that you were talking about, that's one thing that's new and coming. So when you look at Albany, when she was prepping for the state level pageant, and then she had to prep for Miss USA, Miss USA, and then Miss Universe. Is there a whole lot of difference in prepping, do you think, for the ladies when they go from the state level and then they move to, the local level or state level, and then Miss USA and then on to Miss Universe? Is the preparation any different?
Well, it depends. With her, she always had a theme, so that was the nice part of it. She already knew going into, especially the Miss Universe competition, her theme was women on the moon, NASA, all sorts of stuff, so she was able to tie that into every sort of competition area she had between swimsuit, evening gown, and that's what, with her national costume, she kind of blossomed that entire look. But competing at state and going to Miss USA, I feel like would be such a different experience, because I feel like with her, she didn't plan to just win Miss USA, she planned to win Miss Universe. So her competition and preparation looked, I feel like, a lot different.
She had the long-term goal.
Yes, and that's
the way, you should.
Just like, the recent pageant that we were at for High School America, I feel like a bunch of these girls are coming in, they're not just looking at just the state, I want to win North Carolina or South Carolina.
They want to win America. They want to win the national. Yeah.
So I think that's what you should look for, the end goal in mind. When you're talking about that preparation, what does it look like and how can I get there, and picture that crown being placed in your head at the final destination.
So going back to talking about JKN Global and Anne, they plan, the motto or the theory I think that they have out there is to evolve for a new generation. I think that's kind of their motto that they're going with, to evolve for a new generation. What can that look like? I mean, as we sit here and try to imagine, we could probably come up with all kinds of things that we could change and would be fun and to do with the Miss Universe organization. But we were talking about the reality show. What are some of the other things that maybe could be done? I mean, a few years ago at the state level, young ladies were in the teen division wore swimsuit, and they changed that to activewear. Do you think there should be any changes to the Miss Universe or any of the pageants as far as, we have gown, we have swimwear and or activewear, and then we have the question, the interview part that plays into it. Is there something that should be added, do you think, or something that should be taken away?
I feel like I was one of the teens that competed in swimsuit as South Carolina Teen USA back in 2016. So
before it got changed.
Before it got changed, and
What did you think about that?
I liked it a lot because then it really helped me focus on my physical fitness as well as my mental health. Because being in a swimsuit in front of people on live television, basically all out there being live streamed, it can be difficult.
Sure.
It can be really stressing on a 16-year-old. I really had to take that in and think about it before stepping on that stage and taking that breath to realize like I am me and I'm proud of myself and I'm proud of my body and all the work that I did to get here. So I honestly wouldn't mind bringing that swimsuit back. I do like, at nationals they have the fun at Miss USA where they wear the shorts and the sports bras, and so they have a sponsor for that. But why not throw the swimsuit back in there? I wouldn't be bothered, but I did like that. I know Florida USA has it where they have the national costume at their state pageant level.
Oh, nice.
And so I think adding those into the state competitions would be very interesting because you can see what those girls think about their states, and whoever wins, it would give them such a great idea, or possibly borrow whoever won the state competitions costume to take to Miss USA or to Miss Universe.
Well, we're excited. I mean, Miss Universe is going a whole new direction with the new ownership, as we've been talking about, and I'm excited. I mean, I think we've got a lot of things that we can anticipate that are going to come. I think Anne and her team are very excited of putting things together. There's going to be another Miss Universe pageant yet this year.
Yes.
We're playing catch up because of COVID, as are many of the states.
Yes.
They're having to do their pageants a little closer than they normally do to kind of get caught up. And so we do have another Miss Universe at the end of this year, do we not?
And it's in El Salvador. It's what they released yesterday during the competition. They did a whole, promo video for it. So I think it's going to be so amazing. And I'm glad that they're going ahead and giving her that 12 months, to possibly have it, I guess, in December time for them to start for the new year.
You mean 11 and a half months?
Nah, it's never a full year sometimes.
Right.
And COVID, threw a wrench into a lot of things.
Well, and what Miss Universe has to go out and do to represent the organization, that extra 2 weeks might be helpful to her. She'll be like, okay, I don't need that. So where does Miss Universe end up living? I mean, obviously it's the former Miss Texas, so I presume she's going to live in the United States, but where do Miss Universes live? And they're on the road, are they not? Quite a bit?
Absolutely. I know for Miss USA, Arbany was living in Texas when I had got to do my interview with her, and that's where she was residing in Houston. But as Miss Universe, through a lot of different news sources, they're supposed to be taking the first runner-up, second runner-up, and Miss Universe to Thailand to live for the year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's going to be definitely like a cultural shock for some people that may never have been traveled there before. So I know for Arbany, she'd love to travel, so I think it'll be a great fit for her.
Yeah, and of course, for those of you that don't know, Anne and JKN Global are based in Thailand, so that's why they're going to go to Thailand. Okay. Let's talk about our affiliation with Pageantvision TV. I mean, we're so grateful and blessed to have this opportunity to work with a great team of people. And talking about the former Miss Texas and the now Miss Universe, Pageantvision TV, one of the states they go in and do a lot of video production is that state. Yeah. And so there's a lot of video on the Pageantvision website. If you're wanting to check that out of the new Miss Universe, the former Miss Texas, there's plenty of video there. And we're going a whole new direction with Pageant TV. We're going to have much more news content in the future and make your subscription very worthwhile and valuable for you from Pageantvision TV. So check it out online. You can go to pageantvision.tv. There's also pageantvision.com where there's information and subscriptions. And if you want to just buy videos from some of the shows, and also for those directors out there in the States, and if you ever need a production company, make sure you get with our team because they're fantastic. They travel to you and they do wonderful, wonderful production. It's a lot of fun.
And hopefully they can invite us back where we can be the commentators for their pageant out there whenever you need us. But make sure to choose Pageantvision.
Yeah, I don't get invited too often. See, I was in radio for a long time because I had the radio face. I wasn't pretty enough for TV. But as I've aged, maybe it looks a little better. So they let me do it now. But we've had so much fun. And Pageantvision TV, an amazing group of people. Check it out, pageantvision.tv. It's been a long weekend. I can't even talk anymore. But thank you so much. And Miss Universe, an exciting future. And we'll be here to talk about it as things go forward. We'll anticipate with you and find out what exciting things are to come, and we'll check it out together. Thanks so much for being with us, Casey.
Yeah, this was amazing.
Yeah, have a great week ahead of you, and thanks for watching. I'm Brad, and this is Casey, and this is Pageantvision TV.